The Testament's ending explained Becca's fate, June's secret, Aunt Lydia's betrayal, and Season 2 predictions. The Season 1 finale of The Testaments delivers an emotional, devastating, and game-changing conclusion that completely reshapes the future of the series. After weeks of tension, manipulation, trauma, and rebellion brewing beneath the surface of Gilead, Episode 10 finally pushes several key characters to their breaking points. The finale answers major questions surrounding Becca's fate, Agnes' future, Daisy's growing role in the Resistance, and Aunt Lydia's shifting loyalties. At the same time, it carefully sets the stage for an explosive second season that could radically alter the balance of power inside Gilead. From heartbreaking sacrifices to hidden truths finally being exposed, the ending proves one thing above all else. The younger generation is becoming the greatest threat Gilead has ever faced. Becca's arrest pushes Gilead into crisis. The finale begins immediately after the shocking events of Episode 9. After discovering the truth about her father's abuse, Becca kills Dr. Grove before he can stand trial for assaulting multiple girls, including Agnes. It's a brutal and emotional moment that completely changes the direction of the story. But while viewers may sympathize with Becca's actions, Gilead sees things very differently. The regime doesn't care that Dr. Grove was abusive. What matters to them is that a commander has been murdered by his own daughter. To the leadership of Gilead, that kind of rebellion threatens the entire foundation of their system. Becca is quickly arrested by the Eyes and dragged away in a police-style van, leaving Agnes emotionally shattered. Agnes believed Garth was helping Becca get medical care, so when she realizes he reported her instead, she feels deeply betrayed. The emotional fallout from this moment hangs over the entire episode. Margaret Atwood's surprise cameo. One of the coolest details in the finale arrives during Aunt Lydia's visit to Becca's prison facility. The woman escorting Lydia into the holding area is actually Margaret Atwood herself, the legendary writer who created both The Handmaid's Tale and The Testaments novels. Fans had to look carefully to spot her. Her role is incredibly brief, with only one line: "Don't agitate her." Still, it's a meaningful cameo for longtime fans of the franchise. Atwood previously appeared in The Handmaid's Tale during the Red Center scenes, so her return here acts as a subtle passing of the torch between generations of the story. Aunt Lydia begins to break from Gilead. Inside the prison, Aunt Lydia is visibly disturbed by Becca's condition. She immediately orders Becca's restraints removed, showing more compassion than almost anyone else in the system. Lydia clearly understands that Becca's actions were born from trauma and abuse rather than cruelty. Commander Judd, however, sees things very differently. He coldly explains that the fallout from Dr. Grove's murder must now be controlled. His solution is horrifying. Becca should be turned into a handmaid. For Lydia, this becomes a major turning point. Throughout the episode, she repeatedly argues that Becca may have broken God's law, but her father broke it first through years of abuse. Yet every powerful man in Gilead dismisses that argument as irrelevant. This realization slowly forces Lydia to confront the truth she has avoided for years. Gilead does not protect women or children. It sacrifices them. The finale strongly suggests that Lydia is beginning the transformation longtime readers of the Testaments novel already know is coming, her eventual betrayal of Gilead from within. Agnes finally finds her voice. Back at Aunt Lydia's school for girls, news of Dr. Grove's death spreads rapidly. Agnes reveals the truth about Becca's arrest to Daisy, Shu, and Hulda. Instead of remaining silent and obedient, the girls begin planning ways to save Becca. This marks a huge turning point for Agnes' character. For most of the season, Agnes has been trapped between fear and obedience. But now she begins openly challenging the system around her. Her confrontation with Aunt Vidala becomes one of the strongest scenes in the finale. When Vidala insists that only God's will can decide Becca's future, Agnes pushes back hard. She reminds Vidala that the aunts claim to represent justice and morality. Then she delivers a devastating line. "If anyone led Becca astray, it's you." The accusation cuts deeply because Agnes is exposing the hypocrisy at the center of Gilead. Girls are taught to obey, suffer quietly, and trust authority figures. Yet when they actually need protection, the adults around them fail them completely. Vidala clearly feels the weight of Agnes' words. Daisy's mission changes everything. While Agnes fights from inside the school, Daisy launches her own desperate plan to save Becca. Frustrated that Garth refuses to take more direct action, Daisy temporarily walks away from Mayday and prepares to risk her own life. Later that night, she's secretly smuggled out of Gilead, hidden inside a barrel loaded into the back of a truck. The sequence mirrors escape scenes from The Handmaid's Tale, but this time the younger generation is taking charge. Eventually, Daisy reaches a dock where she finally reunites with June Osborne, played once again by Elizabeth Moss. Their conversation is tense and emotional. June believes Daisy has become too emotionally attached to the girls inside Gilead. She argues that Becca is collateral damage in a much larger war against the regime. In June's eyes, Trying to save everyone could destroy the resistance completely. But Daisy refuses to abandon her friends. She passionately insists that the girls inside Gilead deserve saving too, even if it costs her life. Her anger and determination reveal how much she has changed since the beginning of the season. Then comes the episode's biggest revelation. Daisy mentions Agnes. Suddenly, everything clicks into place. Both Daisy and June realize Agnes is actually Hannah, June's long-lost daughter. The emotional weight of the scene is enormous because it reconnects the Testaments directly to the emotional core of the Handmaid's Tale. For years, June's entire motivation has been finding Hannah. Now there is finally hope. Aunt Lydia and Vidala's secretly rebel. Back in Gilead, Agnes' earlier confrontation begins influencing Aunt Vidala more deeply than expected. For the first time, Vidala agrees to work alongside Aunt Lydia rather than blindly enforcing Gilead's rules. Together, they begin secretly constructing a plan to save Becka. Their solution is heartbreaking. During a hidden meeting between Lydia, Vidala, Becka, and Mrs. Grove, Lydia proposes changing the official story entirely. Mrs. Grove will confess to murdering her husband. Without hesitation, Becca's mother agrees. The moment perfectly captures one of the central themes running throughout both The Handmaid's Tale and the Testaments. Mothers sacrificing themselves for their daughters. Mrs. Grove understands that becoming a handmaid would destroy Becca's life forever. Dying becomes the only way she can protect her child. It's devastating, but also deeply powerful. Commander Weston rejects Agnes. Later in the episode, Commander Weston officially ends his engagement to Agnes. Publicly, he claims the Grove scandal has made her too controversial. But viewers understand the real reason. Once Agnes revealed she had been sexually assaulted, Weston no longer saw her as an acceptable wife by Gilead standards. Victims are treated as damaged, rather than protected. The scene quietly exposes how cruel Gilead truly is. Agnes told the truth, yet she's the one being punished socially for it. Paula's reaction afterward is even darker. Drunk and furious, she reveals that Gilead once considered killing Agnes as a child and sending her body back to the resistance piece by piece as a warning. The horrifying confession shows how terrifying Agnes' childhood really was and how deeply Paula herself has been psychologically damaged by years inside Gilead. Agnes and Becka share an emotional kiss. Overwhelmed by everything happening around her, Agnes runs to find Garth and begs him to marry Becka instead. The goal is simple: protect Becka from becoming fallen. Eventually Garth agrees, and is elevated to commander status before the ceremony. Meanwhile, Becka prepares for the wedding while emotionally collapsing under the weight of losing both parents in such a short time. Before the ceremony begins, Agnes comforts Becka privately. Becka quietly tells Agnes, "I know everything will be okay, because you're here." Then the two girls kiss. The moment is intentionally layered and emotionally complicated. It isn't presented as a straightforward romantic scene. Instead, it blends grief, love, fear, comfort, trauma, and emotional dependency into one heartbreaking interaction. Their bond has grown far beyond ordinary friendship. Becka survives, but at a massive cost. The wedding proceeds while, at the exact same time, Mrs. Grove is publicly executed by hanging. The cross-cutting between marriage and execution is one of the finale's most devastating creative choices. One woman dies, so another can survive. In the end, Becka technically escapes becoming a handmaid because marriage gives her legal protection within Gilead. But emotionally, she is destroyed. She has lost her father, her mother, her innocence, and any sense of safety. Her survival comes at an unimaginable emotional price. Daisy reveals the truth about June. After the wedding, Daisy finally tells Agnes the truth. She explains that Agnes is actually Hannah, the daughter of June Osborne. At first, Agnes refuses to believe it because Gilead has spent years teaching her that June is a dangerous terrorist and enemy of the state. But later that night, Agnes discovers an old childhood drawing with the name Hannah written on it. That quiet moment confirms everything. The next day, Agnes meets Aunt Lydia again, who tells her that June never gave up. The line carries enormous emotional meaning because Lydia now seems to admire June's determination rather than condemn it. Season 2 predictions. The finale clearly sets up a much larger rebellion moving forward. Aunt Lydia's betrayal. Season 2 will almost certainly explore Lydia's growing disillusionment with Gilead. Her alliance with Agnes, Daisy, and Vidala marks the beginning of her transformation into a secret enemy within the regime. Agnes rejecting Gilead. Now that Agnes knows she is Hannah, her entire identity has been shattered. Season 2 will likely focus on her struggle between loyalty to the only world she knows and the truth about her real mother. Daisy building a resistance army. Daisy's final message strongly hints that she plans to organize teenage girls against Gilead from the inside. Rather than attacking externally, the rebellion may grow within schools, marriages, and aunt training programs. Becca's emotional recovery. Although Becka survives physically, The psychological damage she carries will almost certainly shape her storyline moving forward. A future June and Hannah reunion. After years of separation across both series, season May 2nd finally begin bringing June and Hannah closer toward an emotional reunion fans have waited years to see.